Hey guys, welcome to what was going to be 10 fiction books I want to read in 2022, but then as I was sitting here I looked over to my TBR shelf and grabbed one more, so it is now 11 books that I want to read in 2022. Just a slight disclaimer, this is fiction books. This is not books on my anticipated releases. This is books that are not on my winter TBR, and this does not include books that are, let me just double check, yeah, that are part of a series I've already started. So there are some series books in here, but I have not started those yet. So yeah, I'm probably going to do a full series video coming up, but I think I've realized it's probably going to be too long for Vlogmas, so that one will be probably coming up in January. Okay, so let's just dive in. This is not the book that I want to read that is on this list. This is my remembrance of the book. So this MC Beaton, I have a friend who told me that I need to read, this is actually not even this series. I don't think it's Agatha Raisin. He has another, or she has another series with a male detective. I want to actually try both of them. What is his name? No, I have to figure this out. Oh yeah, okay, his name is Hamish Macbeth. So I want to start that series. I also actually do want to try the Agatha Raisin series, so I guess this is 12 books. Because I own oddly books like 23 and 24 or 22 and 23, and I just need to know in this Agatha Raisin series if I want to continue these or not. So I guess that was 2 books. And these are in no particular order, so yeah, these are just mystery. I think they're Agatha Christie-esque vibes, but I'm not really sure. The next one on my list is The Chemist by Stephanie Meyer. So I read her book, The Host, a couple months ago and really enjoyed it, so I'm hoping I have a good experience with this one as well. I don't know, I think this is sci-fi. She used to work for the US government, an expert in her field. She was one of the darkest secrets of an agency so clandestine it doesn't even have a name. Then, without warning, they came for her. She's been running ever since, so I'm assuming she is the chemist? Yeah, so I'm curious. I really enjoyed The Host. I have kind of said I will never really read Twilight that I can imagine, but I'm curious to read her other books. On a very different note, let's go L.M. Montgomery. I'm putting Jane of Lantern Hill on here. I think, yeah, probably by the end of 2022, I will have read most of L.M. Montgomery's books, and then eventually I want to start buying her journals and stuff. So this follows Jane. This one is a standalone novel, which she hasn't done a ton of. Like, she's got the Anne series and the Emily series, and then The Story Girl has a duology, and Mistress Pet, that's a duology. So for as long as she can remember, Jane and her mother lived with her grandmother in a dreary mansion in Toronto. Jane always believed her father was dead until she accidentally learns he is alive and well and living on Prince Edward Island. Then she spends the summer at his cottage on Lantern Hill. Doing all the wonderful things grandmother deems unladylike, she dares to dream that there could be such a house back in Toronto. A house where she, mother and father could live together without grandmother directing their lives. A house that could be called home. Interesting. I have read The House of Dreams, like middle grade biography on L.M. Montgomery, and I know she lived in Toronto area at least for a while, and I imagine this is kind of based on her own experience because I don't think she really enjoyed her time in Toronto. Then the book that I had just pulled off before I started here is Every Little Thing by James Herriot, which is also not actually the book I want to read. I own this one and All Things Bright and Beautiful, but the first book is called All Creatures Great and Small, and I'm thinking I probably want to start with that one, so I'll get it from the library and then see if I want to keep reading the series. I hope so, because I've collected both of these and his cat stories and animal stories. So I've been collecting a bunch of his books. I should really read them. Next up is a different kind of book for me. This is more historical fiction-esque. The reason this one caught my attention is because it involves a bookshop. So Meg and her sister Sylvie seek a quiet existence managing the family bookshop. I mean, like, a family bookshop. If I wanted to own, honestly, Jared and I, even in the last month, have like talked fairly seriously, like, do we want to own a bookshop? We kind of do, but also we're introverted and kind of just want to stay home and not own a bookshop. Anyway, Meg feels responsible for caring for their father, whose spirit and health are both damaged from his time as a prisoner during the Civil War. Her one escape is the paintings she creates and sells in the bookshop. Then the Great Fire sweeps through Chicago. So, okay, that one. This is a middle grade one that I think was just turned into a movie, so it's kind of gained a bit of traction. Night Books. And this is, Alex is trapped in a scary story, and after he sneaks out in the middle of the night, he becomes imprisoned by the witch Natasha in her magical apartment. Another child in the apartment assures Alex that she's already tried every means of escape. Oh, okay. Yeah, I've actually heard good things about it, and I'm pretty sure there's a movie on it as well. This might be a middle grade March book or something. We'll see what the prompts are for that. Then I want to read Light from the Distant Stars by Sean Smucker. I just read his newest book, The Weight of Memory, and was like very disappointed. If it hadn't been a NetGalley book, I would have like DNF'd it. I think I gave it 2 stars. I did not like it. And so I need to know if I am going to like this one or not. And then if I don't like this one, then I think I will just cross him off as an author that's not for me. Okay, I keep talking about this book. I feel like I probably have had this book for close to 2 years already. This is Secrets of a Charmed Life by Susan Meisner. I need to read this book this year. It is gorgeous. And you guys, I did not know. Did I know that it was set in Oxford? I don't know if I've ever read the back of this. I always just talk about how I'm so attracted to the cover. Present-day Oxford, England, young American scholar Kendra, eager to pursue her vision of a perfect life, interviews Isabel McFarland just when the elderly woman is ready to give up secrets about the war she's kept for decades. Beginning with who she really is. What Kendra receives from Isabel is both a gift and a burden, one that will test her convictions and her heart. And then we go back to 1940s England, as Hitler wages an unprecedented war against London's civilian population. Hundreds of thousands of children are evacuated to foster homes in the rural countryside. So somehow those will merge. Oh, and just to point out my nice old lady sweater, I shared this in a thrift haul on my personal channel. I don't know, it's incredibly comfy and I really like it. And I know most people wouldn't agree with me, but I'm definitely entering the old lady era of sweaters and I'm just gonna rock it and be proud of it. Okay, I think this may be one of the books that I'm the most excited about on this list, and that is Elantris. As much as I struggle with this cover, and I say that every time because seriously, can somebody just agree with me that she looks like Fiona from Shrek? I really liked Sanderson's Warbreaker, and I for some reason feel like this will kind of have the same vibes because it's a currently standalone, and I think it's in his, is it in his Cosmere? I'm not even sure. I don't know what it's about at all, but I really like how he writes characters, especially his female characters. So let's read the back of this. Oh, and there's maps. Of course there's maps. Sanderson. There's all sorts of maps. One map. Ooh, 2 maps. That one's cool. And then another map. So it says, Elantris was beautiful once. It was called the City of the Gods, a place of power, radiance, and magic. Visitors say the very stones glowed with an inner light, and that the city contained wondrous arcane marvels. At night, Elantris shone like a great silvery fire, visible even from a great distance. It doesn't really tell me much. Okay, I still don't really know what this is about. But this is the 10th anniversary author's definitive edition, which has 10,000 words of bonus content. So is that at the end, or is that like just throughout? Oh no, there's Elantris deleted scenes in here. That's cool. Okay, 2 more books left. The first one is Francine Rivers. I contemplated putting Redeeming Love on this list, but I've read that one already, so while I might read it next year, this one I felt like was a little bit higher priority. This is Lineage of Grace, and it follows 5 women: Tamar, Rahab, Ruth, Bathsheba, and Mary. And I guess it has a bit of a, obviously taking their stories and making them bigger, which I think is interesting. I know some people struggle with this kind of biblical fiction, but I think it's interesting kind of to learn about more about the time period and like different situations, especially like different cultural things that were taboo that you don't think of now that were so taboo back then. So, and then each women's story includes a 6-part Bible study, perfect for personal study or group discussion. So that's interesting. And the last one is a Glass Town game. I've had this one on my list for quite some time, or my TBR, and I thought, like, I was totally drawn in by the cover, and it's supposed to be the Brontes, I think, because the Brontes invented a game called Glass Town where their toy soldiers fight Napoleon and no one dies, and then I think they enter this make-believe land, and the pictures are just really cool. And I really wanted to read it, and then I think Holly had started it at the beginning of the year, last year, and was kind of disappointed, and then so I kind of didn't pick it up because of that. And then she recently finished it and had actually enjoyed it more than she realized she would or whatever, so now I really want to pick it up. And kind of the art style reminds me a little bit of Wildwood, which was a book that I did not enjoy at all, but had really cute artwork, so that's cool. So there you go. That is my, I guess, 12 fiction books that I want to read in 2022. Let me know what fiction books are on your list for next year, and thanks so much for watching, guys.